Hello and welcome to the program. I am Shola Shieli. As the year winds down, we assess the judiciary and how well it has fared in 2018. My guest, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Ifedayo Adedipe, who was conferred with the rank of Senior Advocate of Nigeria in 2005, has a front row seat in some high-profile corruption trials as a defense counsel. In this interview, I began by getting his assessment to the performance of the judiciary in the outgoing year.
As I'd said once, and as I've heard other people say, it is in this country that we drive the courts nuts. There is no nature of matter that we don't carry to court. It is not necessarily a bad thing. But when you look at the fact that maybe the average age of the justices of the Supreme Court will be something around 60, and you made them sit every day of the week and doing manual recordings, hearing motions, applications, substantive appeals, political cases, EFCC cases, ad nauseam, you cannot but sympathize with the judges. Mark you, the reason we still where we are is because of the intervention from time to time of the courts in some of our issues. I do not know whether there will be candidate for Rivers APC, for instance, because of the intervention of the courts. If you recall, going many years ago, it was the intervention of the courts that stopped the scourge of impeachment of governors by errant members of the House of Assembly. I refer to Ladoja's case, the intervention of the courts. And when you look at how Amici became governor, the Supreme Court intervened to put some sense into the heads of the political parties. So when you look at 2018, nothing really different from what the courts have been doing, except that they have more works now, pre-election matters, some election matters that had been outstanding even before now. And lately, the Supreme Court had come up with a commendable approach to it. If you ought not to be there and you are there illegally, you refund all you had taken. So these are some of the approaches the courts have taken to sanitize our body politics. But I hope we will have a situation where in our laws that those who made it possible for wrong people to occupy positions are made to pay. I refer to INEC and security agencies that collude with the others to rig election, that you have to go through tribunal, Court of Appeal, Supreme Court before you can get justice. Yes. So, on the whole, the judiciary, from magistrates court to High Court, Federal High Court, Court of Appeal, have done very well. It's as if the only thing we do in this country is politics, whereas there are other issues, company matters, land matters, chieftaincy, that the courts still have to look into. So, given the paucity of funds, given the fact that we run an analog administration of justice, and given the profusion of cases and the limited resources, the courts have done remarkably well in the outgoing year.
Let's talk about the lawyers now. I've heard some very senior members of the bar and even the bench say that the legal profession could do with a lot more regulation. And when they say things like this, they point to the fact that we still see lawyers who stall cases, we still see lawyers who file frivolous cases that go all the way to the Supreme Court, and that in other jurisdictions, these are some things for which they would lose their licenses, and that it perhaps is time for the legal profession to have more regulation. Where do you stand on that?
I think there's merit in that observation. I am one with those who believe that lawyers ought to be sanctioned where they constitute themselves as clog in the wheels of justice. The Supreme Court are taking a lead in this direction. Lawyers are now being sanctioned with heavy costs, 2 million, 3 million, to be paid personally by lawyers. I think that should trickle down to trial courts. Somebody sues you for a claim in libel and you are raising jurisdictional issue rather than going to the merit of the case, and if the ruling is against you, you are raising an objection, you are not filing a defense to this scurrilous attack, and you want to spend 4 or 5 years, at the end of the day you will still go back hoping that you would have won out your opponent. I think there should be consequences for such conduct. Elsewhere, if a court determines a case and you want to appeal, if you lose the appeal, you pay the legal cost to the other side. It doesn't matter how huge. And so that makes people think. I believe we are about to reach that level in this country, because particularly some of us who are senior counsel, we need to caution ourselves. Leadership comes with responsibility. A senior advocate is a leader. Being a leader, conduct should reflect that leadership quality, and that will include giving quality advice. To deliberately file frivolous cases, to deliberately stall the hearing of a case, to deliberately lodge unconscionable appeals just to stall the trial of a case, or to have consequences. And any lawyer who lent himself to this ought to be sanctioned. Whether it should be statutorily made is an open question, but I think the disciplinary committee of the bar could do with more powers, and the rules of professional conduct for legal practitioners could do with more tweaking with, so that honestly most of these things can be dealt with brave manner.